G'day everyone, welcome to another video from Sweeney's Creek Farm. High tunnel day again today. We're continuing to work on our getting our high tunnels back into shape for the upcoming planting season. As you know, we've done previous videos on constructing those high tunnels, links to the videos above. And you've seen us use trampolines, and we've used every single part of the trampoline. We've used the frames for the hoops, we've used the legs to lift the frames up, we've used legs for covers on our raised garden beds, we've used the springs to support our tomato plants, and we've basically used every single part of the trampoline in our philosophy of reuse and recycle. The one part we haven't used is the mat, which is what I'm standing on at the moment. These are made out of polypropylene. They're non-carcinogenic, and they're also, roosters like them as well. They're also porous, which means the water will flow through. Otherwise, you'd get up in the morning and go to jump on your trampoline to be covered in water. So they do have holes that allow the water to go through. What we're going to do is cut them into strips, and we're going to lay them down in the garden bed, in the walkways near the garden beds, and then we're going to cover those with crushed rock. And that will give us a nice firm base to walk along in the pathways between the garden beds, but it also will be porous and allow the water to drain through and drain out. Before I get to those, I do have to just finish off the ends of the garden beds. I've got to put some boards on there. You'll see me just about to put those on. And that's just to tidy up the end and also keep it easier for keeping the weeds under control. And then we'll have some strips of these, and we'll be putting them down on the ground, and we've got some nice road base or crushed rock that will go on top of that. That'll set really hard. Any weeds that do come through, they're not going to have a strong base. We'll be able to just pick them up and pull them out, and hopefully not end up in a situation where we had the jungle that we had up there at quite recently.
Oh, where's she? Oh, there.
So all I'm doing here is we've had these garden beds open at the end, and finally getting around to just putting a board on the end just to hold the dirt and to make it a little bit easier to keep the weeds under control on the outside of it. So I'm just using the reciprocating saw. I'm just attaching it on. It's a little bit over the length. Once I've got it secured, then I just use the recip saw and cut the end off. Nice and simple. So we're fortunate at the moment, we've got our new house slab here, so we've got a nice flat surface to do this. It's a very simple task. All you need is a nice sharp blade and a straight edge to run it, and we'll be able to cut these across. Should be able to get quite a few strips out of each one and lay them down to create a weed barrier which will suppress those weeds. Changing plants, we've had a bit of a go and we've discovered that the scissors are actually a lot easier. As we're running the knife on the concrete, it's losing the edge really quickly. So we're just basically marking it and then cutting it with the scissors, as you can see, and it's doing a lot better. Once I get this strip cut, I'll take it up and put it in between the garden beds and put some crushed rock and show you what it's going to look like, and Julianne can continue cutting some more strips. So you can see the weeded garden beds, and we've taken all the weeds out of the pathways as well. So all we're going to do is just lay these down in the pathway. It's a little bit big in the pathway, that'll mean we can come up the edges a little bit, and then I'll get a couple of barrel loads of crushed rock, or what we call road base, get that on top, get that compacted down, and that will be our weed suppression system. Still allowing for the drainage though, because the road base is porous, and of course trampoline mat is also porous. See how it goes. That's going to be perfect. That's the easy part. Now I've got to get the road base. As you can see, this is a mix of crushed rock and sand, and it's got a little bit of moisture in it. It's quite heavy. I nearly lost it as I tried to get it in position there. It's a great product though, very versatile. It's going to be quite a thick layer. It will compact down. It does go really hard. We've actually used this on our driveway. One thing you can do with this stuff as well is, as you're putting it out, you can mix a little bit of concrete powder through it, and when it gets wet it will set even harder. Not like true concrete, but it can be a simple way to make a really durable path. I'm not going to cover the ends because Julianne wants to overlap, so I'll leave the ends exposed, put the next one down, and then we'll keep continuing along. Apologise for any huffing and puffing, our body's getting a bit old. This is a modified leaf rake. We've actually cut a couple of the tines off on the end, and it fits almost perfectly through this gap, which is just ideal. And that will compact down really hard. You'll actually also support these sides of the garden beds. So it's actually pushing from both directions then. And that looks really good. I'm really happy with that. And as I said, it's not going to give strong structure for any weeds, so any weeds that do come up, we'll be able to easily pull them out because they won't have solid ground to lay their roots down into. Oh, I might get another load of rock while I wait for Julianne to get another strip cut. Well, there you go, guys. We've got a few cockatoos flying around, having a bit of a squawk like they always do. We've got one pathway done. Got that trampoline mat down, got the road base on top of it, spreading out really nice. It's compacting down. It's going to be really good to walk on. As I said, hopefully it will really suppress those weeds and make sure that we don't end up in a bit of a mess with the pathway again. It's really pleasing though also that we've basically used probably 99% of those trampolines. The only thing left over is the little strip with the hooks that connect onto the springs to hold the mat on. Yeah, we don't have really use for those, but we've done a really good job of making sure that we've recycled those trampolines as much as we possibly could. It's getting a little bit dark now. As I said, we're in winter at the moment, so the sun's setting a bit earlier, so we're running out of daylight, and Julianne and I have had a big weekend out on the homestead working, so it's time to, what we say in Australia, pull up stumps and head inside. So hope you enjoyed the video. The high tunnel and the garden beds are looking really good. We're really pleased with the pathways, and we'll be getting ready to plant some crops into here, hopefully some more tomatoes, and be able to see what happens in here in the coming months. Thanks for being here, everyone. Please hit that thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. We love to grow our family. Thanks for being here. See you on the next one.